Okay guys, today we are going to be doing a carburetor on a Generac wheelhouse 5550 generator. This is actually a Briggs and Stratton motor. First thing we're going to do is take these two bolts out, get the air filter and air filter cover off. Now we've got two 11mm or 7/16 nuts to take off. Okay, to get this off, we're going to pull it out from the bottom and then lift up. This may have to go a certain way to do that. Yeah, no big deal. And then this hose will pull right off the back, no problem. Now we've got two torque. I use a 4mm socket, works perfect. Just like that. Now, before we get this all the way off, we're going to go ahead and take the fuel line off. Make sure the fuel is off in the off position. Pointing towards you is off, pointing up and down is on. Have it off and then pull that fuel line off. Actually, I was completely wrong, so I made a mess. Up and down is off, towards you is on. Alright, now we're going to take these two studs out to be able to get this carburetor off. When it's got the bolts off, just give it a slight tap and it'll come right off. And then this throttle arm, see how it is? You just twist this and bring it back, wiggle it back, and it'll come off. It needs two hands. Now we will set up a 5-gallon bucket or something and completely drain this fuel line. Completely drain this tank, make sure it's all empty. If you have bad fuel or water in this tank, it'll ruin your freshly rebuilt carburetor. You'll blow this tank out with air or rinse it out with fresh gas or something like that. Just another little trick to break these bolts free. You use a pair of vice grips. It's hard to do it with one hand, but you grab the bolt and then clamp it down and then twist it and break it free on both sides. Then you can use your Phillips head to actually unscrew it. Pull the bowl off and spring. You see this has got like a thin layer of stuff on it. Spring that needs to be cleaned. That jet is completely clogged, and that's the main part, is that jet right there. That's got to be cleaned. We're going to pull this straight off of here. Alright, let me use both hands. See, this is stiff and all needs to be cleaned. Now all this is going to have to be cleaned, but this seal, as soon as carburetor cleaner hits it, will swell up. I'll have the kit in there for rebuilding it in the description. I'll have a brand new carburetor where you don't even have to mess with this. Super way easier just to put a brand new carburetor. I actually have new carburetors, but I want to show you guys how to do this in case you don't have one laying around or something. But we want to take this seal off very carefully. So I'm going to take a little bit of diesel fuel and dump it on this just to kind of lube it up, and then I'm going to slowly, gently pull it off. Now we're going to pull this pin out. I believe it only goes one way. I think that there's one side's got flat spots on it and the other side doesn't. I think this one's got a flat spot right there on it. So we're going to pull it out this way. And it's going to go, we're going to pull it out in this direction. So look for the flat spots. If you grab it with pliers and it doesn't pull out one way, grab it the other side and pull it out the other way. Now we got it all apart. This thing is super dirty. It all has to be cleaned very well. So I just use carb cleaner. The carb cleaner works really well with breaking up the bad tar. See, it just cleans it right up pretty good. Be gentle. This jet will come out the other way, so keep it on a nice flat surface where if it falls out, it'll be laying right on the table. So if you lose it, it will not run. Alright, and then make sure you clean all this out real good. Again, use the carb cleaner and just keep spraying. You'll go through all the little holes. I don't think this one goes anywhere, but that one, this one, and in the front you got these three, 1 and 2 over here. Make sure it all spray out really well. Sometimes you got trouble getting the circuits clean, and you'll have to use a thin piece of wire to poke through the holes. This is a end of a kill cable for a lawnmower, but I also pull a wire right out of a wire wheel. That works really well as well. And you just poke through any of the holes to make sure they're coming. This one's really clogged here, so I'm really fighting with it. Now you've gotten everything clean. Just make sure that your throttle and your choke arms move freely. If they don't, you can use a little bit of diesel fuel or a PB blaster, seafoam, any kind of spray oil just to kind of loosen them up. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and reassemble. Make sure this is completely dry before you do. Your seal soaked in diesel fuel fits right in there, never swelled up, makes it perfect. Reassemble float and needle valve assembly. Again, there's a flat side of the pin. That's the side you hold, and the other side you push through. Now, let's get this flipped upside down. This piece here, it's got a little ridge on it. This piece right here is going to go in this hole right here. That's the fuel inlet. So this hole goes through this tube. That's where the fuel line goes. This is a fuel inlet with a needle valve. That goes in there. Be careful and do not drop that jet out. Make sure that stays inside there. Now we've gotten that all in place. The nice clean spring that you've cleaned off goes right on the top. And then the bowl that you've cleaned out will go right on top of that, and you'll bolt it down. Now we're getting ready to reassemble. You notice I never took this off. If it sticks on the carburetor, leave it on there. If it sticks on that side, on the engine side, leave it on there. If it all comes apart, make sure that you've got a gasket between this and the carburetor and a gasket between this and the engine. That's the most important. This side's gasket is not that important. It's, you know, it's important, but it's not that important. It just helps keep the, you know, the sand from coming around the air filter, dirt coming around the air filter in there. It'll run without it. The kit that I put on in the comment section will have brand new gaskets for this and everything. I've got some on stock, so I'll be grabbing the gaskets and whatnot. But we're going to go ahead and start reassembling now. Okay, so we're going to hook the throttle arm up to there first. And then I know it's blurry, but that spring goes right on the other side. See the hole right on the other side? Spring goes there. Now we're going to feed these two studs through and bolt it back to the engine. And then a 4mm socket again to tighten it back on. Use a ratchet, I'm just getting them snugged up. Now have the choke open, and the arm to the left, it's got slots on it that go onto the choke arm. See, there's a fat side and a skinny side. So have the choke arm to the left, and then you'll slide this onto these bolts. Or no, you'll slide it onto the slotted section in the back here. It's going to take two hands to do it. You're going to slide it on there and then feed it into the bolts. So once you got it slid down on there, then you can find your bolts after that. And then it'll be hooked up. It'll open and close. Now you're going to put your two 11mm or 7/16 bolt nuts back on. Now we'll force this fuel line back onto the nipple. I'll get this tube out of the way. Put that fuel line back in the nipple and put the clamp on. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and hook this tube. This is like a breather line from the crankcase, like crankcase ventilation. We're going to push that right back into the air filter cover. May take two hands as well to get that in there. Then we're going to make sure the air filter is nice and clean. Banging on a table or something, make sure there's no debris in it, blow it out with air. If you have to replace it, I'll have that in the description as well, so you can get a replacement air filter for it. And then you know, put it in the air filter cover and put the air filter cover back on. Now we got all this set together. Before you start this engine, you want to check your oil. So you're going to go over to this side. Oh no, not this. Oh yeah, right here. All right. And make sure. See, this is slightly over full. You want it at the top, at the top line, right at the top of the top line. It's got to be in between the bottom line and the top line, in that check mark area. That's safe, but you want to put it at the very top of the top line. It takes less than a quart, so it's 3/4 of a quart to fill this up. Overfilling it is bad. Alright guys, so anything you need, I'll put in the description for this job. Carburetor, air filter, oil, anything like that you need. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if that helped you in any way, shape, or form. Give me a thumbs up. That's it. Here's today's t-shirt. I got a brand new one. You guys want your t-shirt or want me to wear a t-shirt and, you know, tell them who sent it, whatever, just mail me one. Yeah, I like this one. Peace.